Variation refers to a situation whereby a change in one variable results in a change in another variable which it is related to. We have four types of variation. There's what we call direct variation. There's what we call inverse variation, partial variation, and joint variation. Today we shall look at direct variation. Direct variation or indirect variation, a change, an increase in one variable results in an increase in the other variable and vice versa. So this type of variation is one in which an increase in one variable results in a corresponding increase in the other variable, and a decrease in that first variable results in a corresponding decrease in the second variable it's related to. So that is what direct variation is. Examples of direct variation is like when we talk of height and age of a person. So as you grow from birth, you realize that your age will be increasing as your height increases. Another example is radius and circumference of a circle. As a radius increases, the circumference of a circle increases. Then we also have distance covered and fuel consumption. The longer the distance you cover when you are driving, the more is the consumption. Now, we have examples here to drive the point home. We have a quantity y varies directly as a quantity x. Now, you need to note that when we are dealing with a question involving direct variation, you will realize that this word direct is likely to be seen somewhere in the question. As you can see, it's appearing here. So a quantity y varies directly. That means that it's a direct variation as quantity x. If y is equal to 84 when x is equal to 7, find y when x is equal to 35. So in that case, you note that we have two quantities here, or variables here, y and x. Now, because they are related directly, we shall write it as y varies as x. So we read it as y varies directly as x. So this symbol means varies as or changes as. Now the next thing we do is to change this to an equal sign. And the moment we change this variation sign to an equal sign, we have to introduce a constant here. So that will be y is equal to kx. So we have changed this variation sign to an equal sign and introduced k. K is a constant of proportionality. It simply means a coefficient of x. So this coefficient could either be either a positive number or a negative number. Now, after we have written it in a way that it involves equal signs, then we come to this statement here up to here. We substitute it in this equation so that it will help us get k. So we are told if y is equal to 84 when x is equal to 7, that means we write it for here is equal to k times 7. So we realize that k times 7 gives us 7k. So we can write this equation as 84 is equal to 7k. And for us to get k, we divide both sides by 7. If we do like that, we realize 7 cancels. 7 cancels 7 once, and it cancels here 12 times. So that means that our k is equal to 12. So what we have done is that we have divided both sides by the coefficient of k, which is 7, and we have realized that our k is equal to 12. Now that means we can rewrite this equation in complete format, whereby we shall substitute k with what we have found here, and it will look like y is equal to 12x. We have substituted k with the value we have found, which is 12. Now, find y when x is equal to 35. So we shall say when x is equal to 35, y will be equal to 12 times the value of x, which we have been given is 35. So we shall say y is equal to 12 times 35, and that gives us 420. So that is the value of y when x is equal to 35. Another question, we are told a quantity p varies directly as the cube of q. So you see, we can still see the word directly, and this is an indication that this is a question involving direct variation. So a quantity p varies directly as the cube of q, and that p is equal to 32 when q is equal to 4. Find p when q is 7.5. So first of all, we need to give that question the relationship mathematically. So we shall say p varies as q cubed, because we are told it varies as the cube of q. Cube of q means q cubed. Change this to an equal sign to introduce the constant. So we shall have p is equal to k times q cubed, like that. Then after you have written it in this format, then we invite the presence of this into our equation. So we shall have substitute p with 32 and the q with 4. So we shall have 32 is equal to k, which we are looking for, times q is 4, which must be cubed. So times 4 cubed. When you do that, you get 4 cubed is 64 times k gives us 64k. So we shall have the equation look like 32 is equal to 64k. We need k, so we divide both sides by 64, the coefficient of k. If we do that, you will realize that our k is equal to half. I've done that. You can see 64 cancels here once, it cancels here once, 32 cancels here once, it cancels here twice. So our k is equal to half. So we can now write this equation in complete form as p is equal to half q cubed. Now, can we find p when q is 7.5? We substitute 7.5 here in q. We shall say when q is equal to 7.5, p will be equal to half times q, which is in this case 7.5. So half times 7.5, which must be cubed because our q was cubed here and the value of q is 7.5, so we must cube that. If you do this, you realize that is equal to half times 7.5 cubed is known to be 421.875. So when you simplify that, you will get it being equal to 210.9375. Thank you.